Hello, and welcome to the Season 32 finale of Offsides, BUTV10's only professional sports talk show. I'm Seth Helman.
And I'm Monet Oda. To kick things off, Allison DeWitt will be joined by Seth and Gracie Davenport for the last shot clock of the semester to discuss the NHL playoffs.
And 2023 Commissioner Mason Jablonsky will host the third annual Offsides NFL Mock Draft alongside GMs James McIntyre and Bruni.
And finally, Bobby Serafin will give his thoughts on the Angel Reese controversy.
All this and more, Offsides starts right now.
Welcome to the final shot clock of Season 32. I'm Allison DeWitt. Today, analysts Seth, Helman, and Gracie Davenport will go head-to-head as they discuss the NHL playoffs. They will have 25 seconds to make their points in each of the 5 rounds, with a point being awarded every round. Whoever has the most points at the end wins and has bragging rights for the summer. So, let's begin. Seth, who do you think will be the biggest postseason disappointment?
Well, Allison, for my postseason disappointment, I'm going with the Carolina Hurricanes. They were second in the NHL in the regular season with a 2.56 goals against average and second in penalty killing percentage at 84.4%, but they had a pretty poor power play at under 20%. Andrei Svechnikov is out for the year with a knee injury, and Tony DeAngelo left in the offseason. I feel like this team lacks grit and could very easily be a first-round exit.
After ending the Sabres' playoff hopes with a 6-2 victory, the New Jersey Devils now solely hold the record for the biggest turnaround from one season to the next. Jumping 25 places in the overall standings is quite remarkable, but I have the Devils being the biggest postseason disappointment. The East is as deep as it's ever been, and their path to the finals will not be easy. With so many prospects in the mix, this team will be good for a long time, but their lack of experience makes me feel like this is not their year.
Both of you made some excellent points. However, I'm going to have to give this one to Gracie due to the Devils' lack of experience and outstanding opponents in the East. So, moving on. Gracie, who do you have as your postseason dark horse?
For my dark horse, I'm picking the LA Kings. Veteran guys like Drew Doughty and Andrei Kopitar still remain from the Kings' glory days, and they're now surrounded by lots of young talent. The team has been dealing with injuries, but shutdown defenseman Mikey Anderson made his return to the lineup, and they're hoping Kevin Fiala's reliable offense is back for Game 1. Anderson was missing his D partner Doughty in their first-round exit to Edmonton last season, and the two could be the answer in shutting down McDavid this year.
For my pick, I'm taking the Seattle Kraken. The West is insanely close this year with 7 teams within 11 points of each other. They find themselves in the wild card, but this team is deadly offensively. They struggle a little bit on the power play, sitting at just under 20%, but they finished the regular season 4th in goals scored, and with the Avs battered and bruised, they can do some damage if they get hot.
I like the Kraken for more than just my affinity to the team, as they have been doing very well lately, despite their poor performance against the Golden Knights to end the season. So, Seth gets the point. Seth, who do you have winning the East?
Well, Allison, I'd be remiss if I didn't take the Boston Bruins. They're the best team ever with 135 points in the regular season. They were first in penalty kill percentage at 87.3%, second in goals per game at 3.67, first in goals against average at 2.1, not to mention their goaltending. Ullmark being injured is a bit of a concern, but if he can't go, Swayman will step up.
I'm going with a hot take for my prediction and picking the New York Rangers. Quite literally, every statistic points to the Bees winning, but sports are weird and the NHL postseason is filled with upsets. The Rangers were already a playoff team heading into the trade deadline, and picking up cup winners like Vladimir Tarasenko and Patrick Kane only adds to their depth. Getting past the Devils in round 1 will be tough, but having reigning Vezina winner Igor Shesterkin in between the pipes should be a recipe for success.
This is tough, but I think the Bruins will win the East. They have exited the regular season in record-breaking fashion, and I have no doubt they will continue their dominance. So, Seth gets the point. With 2 rounds left, the score is 2-1 with Seth on top. Gracie, who is the best of the West?
It's hard to pass on the reigning champs in Colorado, but I'm picking the Dallas Stars to win the West this season. Of course, Jason Robertson finished 6th in the league in points, but Dallas is getting contributions from all 4 lines. The young star is just one of 7 of the team's 20 goal scorers. In net, goaltender Jake Ottinger dazzled last postseason, and the BU alum has only gotten better with time. Playing behind one of the best decors in the league definitely doesn't hurt, and it's hard to look past a team that made it to the finals just 3 seasons ago.
Well, I'm going with the Edmonton Oilers. That's right, McJesus finally makes his first Stanley Cup final. He had 153 points and 64 goals in the regular season. As far as the Oilers as a team, they were first in goals per game at 3.96, first in power play percentage at 32.4%. I mean, look, if this team keeps it together for an entire postseason, nobody is going to stop them.
The West is certainly wide open, but I think the Stars are going to shine. So Gracie gets the point. Okay, this is it. Seth, who is going to win it all this year?
Well, like I mentioned before, the Boston Bruins are the best team ever. You can't talk about them without talking about David Pastrnak, who had 113 points and 61 goals in the regular season. They've got 2 stud goaltenders in Linus Ullmark and Jeremy Swayman, who are both top 5 in the NHL in goals against average this year. They've got the veteran leadership and the Stanley Cup experience. They're entering the playoffs as healthy as they've been in the last 2 months. It's time to cue the duck boats, baby.
I'm confident someone from the East is hoisting the cup this year, and for that reason, I'm all in on the Rangers. Defenseman Ryan Lindgren is back after missing 17 games with a shoulder injury. His team recognized what he brings to this group on and off the ice by voting him this year's Players' Player. Lindgren rejoined Adam Fox on the first D pair, and now there are virtually 0 holes in the Rangers roster. The Bruins swept the Blue Shirts in their 3-game season series, but the Rangers are now healthy and have injected talent all up and down their lineup since they first faced off. Having not won the Cup in nearly 30 years, this team is due.
I agree that the champ is going to come out of the East, but I think the Bruins will ultimately lift the Cup this year. Congratulations, Seth. You get the win. That's all for today's NHL Playoff Shot Clock. Mason, over to you.
Welcome to the 2023 Offsides NFL Mock Draft. I'm Commissioner Mason Jablonsky, joined by General Managers Raf Bruni and James McIntyre. They'll be going back and forth making selections for their teams through the first 10 picks. Raf is up first with Carolina on the clock. And now, with the first pick in the 2023 Offsides NFL Draft, the Carolina Panthers select C.J. Stroud, quarterback, Ohio State.
The Carolina Panthers got a new franchise quarterback with Ohio State's C.J. Stroud. Stroud is the complete package. He has both amazing arm strength and is very mobile. And he also has a great height at 6'3". I feel like the dual threat talents of Stroud will be lethal in the NFL.
The Panthers pick up a silky smooth QB. Next, with the second pick in the 2023 Offsides NFL Draft, the Houston Texans select Bryce Young, quarterback, Alabama.
The Texans get their franchise quarterback with Bryce Young. With Laramie Tunsil protecting his blind side, the former national champion brings offensive playmaking to a team that desperately needs it. His accuracy, play extension, and consistency is all you could want in a quarterback.
A fluid, natural playmaker heads to the Lone Star State. Now, with the third pick in the 2023 Offsides NFL Draft, the Arizona Cardinals select Will Anderson Jr., edge rusher, Alabama.
The Arizona Cardinals get an elite defensive end with Alabama's Will Anderson Jr. The thing most impressive of Anderson is his incredible mix of speed and strength. At the Combine, Anderson ran the 40-yard dash in 4.6 seconds.
The Cardinals get an impact player ready to make noise on D. With the fourth pick in the 2023 Offsides NFL Draft, the Indianapolis Colts select Anthony Richardson, quarterback, Florida.
Colts fans should be hyped to get Anthony Richardson. He has all the physical traits of a quarterback built in a lab. He has a rocket arm, blazing speed, size at 6'4", and is only 20 years old. If he is given the proper time to develop with Frank Reich, a player comparable to Josh Allen will emerge from Indianapolis.
Indianapolis picks up an athletic signal caller primed for the future. Next, with the fifth pick in the 2023 Offsides NFL Draft, the Seattle Seahawks select Will Levis, quarterback, Kentucky.
The Seattle Seahawks get Kentucky quarterback Will Levis. The thing that impresses me most about Levis is his amazing arm strength. Levis also has good mobility and has a good height at 6'4". I feel like Levis will be the perfect successor to Geno Smith.
A rugged QB lands in the Pacific Northwest. Now, with the sixth pick in the 2023 NFL Mock Draft, the Detroit Lions select Devon Witherspoon, cornerback, Illinois.
The Lions get Devon Witherspoon, who is a dominant physical cornerback who is a true shutdown player that the Lions need. Used to playing in the Midwest and reuniting with former Illinois teammates on defense, Witherspoon should fit in easily and help a rising secondary in Detroit.
Witherspoon will show his teeth on D with the Lions. With the 7th pick in the 2023 Offsides NFL Draft, the Las Vegas Raiders select Christian Gonzalez, cornerback, Oregon.
The Las Vegas Raiders get a promising prospect in cornerback Christian Gonzalez. Gonzalez's most impressive trait is his speed. Gonzalez is also at an ideal size at 6'1" and 200 pounds. In their drafting process, the Raiders have always prioritized speed, and Gonzalez looks like he is going to be the man in Las Vegas.
Vegas wins a confident defender with coverage chops. Next, with the 8th pick in the 2023 Offsides NFL Draft, the Atlanta Falcons select Tyree Wilson, defensive end, Texas Tech.
Tyree Wilson's set of physical traits is a dream for any franchise. For Atlanta, Wilson could be a solid defensive end on a defense that desperately needs it, but with more proper coaching, could become a franchise cornerstone with power, speed, and game-wrecking ability.
Atlanta secures a bulldozer with infinite upside. With the 9th pick in the 2023 Offsides NFL Draft, the Chicago Bears select Peter Skoronski, offensive tackle, Northwestern.
Chicago Bears get some much-needed O-line help in Peter Skoronski. A great aspect of Skoronski is his versatile ability to be able to play any of the 5 spots on the offensive line. At 6'4" and 313 pounds, Skoronski could be the perfect shield for rising superstar Justin Fields.
Chicago takes a refined pass protector. With the 10th and final pick in the 2023 Offsides NFL Draft, the Philadelphia Eagles select Jackson Smith-Njigba, wide receiver, Ohio State.
The Eagles get Jackson Smith-Njigba, who is easily the best slot in the draft, but arguably also the best receiver overall. His route running, reliability, hands, and awareness led him to dominate on teams full of talent in college, and finding a role among Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown will bring a dominant Eagles offense to being unstoppable.
Philly rounds out the top 10 with a savvy and productive receiver. That wraps up the 2023 Offsides NFL Mock Draft. With young talent on the way, these teams have a lot to look forward to, even if they don't have Raph and James calling the shots.
Women's college basketball is officially back. The national championship was television's most viewed women's game in history. The narrative before the game was feverish. National Player of the Year Caitlin Clark in a high-octane Iowa squad going up against a revamped LSU squad that plays with as much swagger as the outfits of their coach Kim Mulkey. The game did not disappoint. LSU played the perfect game, Jasmine Carson in particular, who went 7 for 7 behind the arc, and Iowa just couldn't handle them. The Tigers were up 17 at the half, and despite a better effort from the Hawkeyes, the game never felt close. The win was punctuated by star player Angel Reese performing a "you can't see me" celebration straight in Clark's face, the same celebration that Clark had done in the national semifinal following a dagger to finish the game. As the clock winded down, LSU got ready for their first ever national title. That should have been the story. At this point, it's an afterthought. What happened instead sparked conversation across the nation. As is tradition, the winners were invited to the White House for a celebration. Where this gesture went wrong is when First Lady Jill Biden also invited Iowa, doing so in the name of sportsmanship. Her intention was to honor this historic matchup and empower female athletes across the nation because, according to Biden, Iowa played such a good game. Instead, many people, including the LSU players, took it as a disrespectful move that awarded losing. I understand that Iowa, but more specifically Clark, had a historic season, and this move, though, only hurts the sport. Sure, people want to see more of the Iowa star. She's a mesmerizing talent, but I think the viewers can wait till the start of next season to see her again. It was a great opportunity to further grow a rivalry that will be even better next year, with both Clark and Reese returning for another year and expected to go 1-2 in the 2024 WNBA draft. Reese in particular took offense to this, saying that she was hurt because of how hard her and her teammates worked for this title. The sophomore acknowledged that she wouldn't accept Biden's apology and that she could easily go to celebrate with former President Barack Obama. Through the discourse on this topic, the race card was definitely played. Many commenters said that since Iowa was a predominantly white team, that was why they were invited to the White House. While on a podcast with Brandon Marshall and Ashley Moss, Reese argued that if LSU, a team made up of mostly black women, had lost the title game, they wouldn't have been asked to join Iowa at the White House. I agree with Reese here because of how rare it is for a runner-up to be invited to the White House in the first place. LSU should be allowed to enjoy their moment, but instead it's been turned into a controversy circling around the treatment of athletes based on race. Reese, who's gained over 1 million followers since the start of the NCAA tournament, has a major platform to bring attention to racial issues in sports. Clark handled this situation as well as she could have, giving her praises to the Tigers and emphasizing that it is their moment to celebrate. Reese announced earlier this week that she will be joining her team at the White House, and Biden has since revoked her offer, but the damage was already done. We will never know what would have happened if Iowa had won the national championship, but this just adds another storyline to what should be a tantalizing women's college basketball season next year.
Thanks, Bobby. That's all we have for this episode and season 32 of Offsides. If you're interested in joining our team, please email us at offsides@butv10.com.
Also, be sure to like our Facebook page and follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Offsides10.
Now, as it is the last episode of the spring semester, that does mean we will be saying goodbye to our one and only senior this year, my co-producer, Seth Helman. Seth, your work for the past 4 semesters as producer has been so important, and you've really kept this ship afloat, and you've been such a big part of this show for the past 8 semesters that you've been on. You've really shown me the ropes of what it means to be a cast member and a crew member on Offsides, but also how to lead this show this year, and it's really been a blast to work alongside you for 2 straight seasons. I've learned so much under you, and I really speak on behalf of everybody on this crew. I'm sure you will be so very missed, and we wish you the absolute best of luck after you graduate in everything you can do.
Well, thanks, Monet. I mean, really appreciate it. Definitely got me tearing up a little bit there. I mean, for the past 4 years, there's nothing that I could go back and look at and say that I would want to change. Just the relationships, the friendships that I've made on this show, they're lifelong friendships. Working with you has been excellent for this past year as co-producers and for the past 2 years as part of Offsides. And just the group that we have, the way we go about things, I don't think that there's a single show on BU TV that could possibly top what we do here at Offsides. But that's all the time we have for today. So for one final time, I'm Seth Helman on behalf of our entire cast and crew saying so long and have a great night.